Okay, so good day, doctors. So for today, we will be having a rationalization on our 8th quiz from the section of EENT, no? So this is a 20 item quiz, no? So without further ado, let's get started. So number 1, except in chemical ocular injury, what is the first step in eye examination of ophthalmologic emergencies? Okay. So, as a rule of thumb, ang lagi mong first step na gagawin is to check for the visual acuity, no? Ito yung vital signs ng mata, no? So, the only exception to the rule na hindi mo gagawin itong visual acuity testing first is in the cases of chemical ocular injuries, no? Na ang una mong gagawin sa mga situation na yon is to irrigate before you assess the visual acuity. Okay? So, when you check for visual acuity, meron dyan yung Snellen chart, no? Although not all emergency rooms have access to this chart, no? A portable gadget that you could use is the Jaeger chart, no? So, pwede mo yan i-screenshot sa cellphone mo. It can be used as an alternative to check for the visual acuity. Okay? So, the correct answer here is the visual acuity testing. Next, which of the following features would differentiate preseptal from postseptal cellulitis? So, actually, there are similarities, no? So, signs of inflammation, okay? If you're going to look at this part, no? So, signs of inflammation yan kasi nga, itis. So, pwede siya magkaroon ng pain, okay? Swelling, no? Pero ang magdi-differentiate dyan, is that yung preseptal cellulitis, the eye itself is not involved. Okay? Okay yung mata. To make things simpler, no? In contrast to your postseptal or orbital cellulitis, there is a compromise of your eye movement, no? Yan yung pangit dyan, no? Hindi mo magalaw yung mata. There's limitation of extraocular muscle movement. Okay? Then, sometimes there would be decreased visual acuity, no? So, yun yung mga pangit, no? And then, usually, in order for you to differentiate it, paminsan, you have to request for a CT with contrast of the orbits, no? Although, kung makita mo sa physical examination mo na may limitation in eye movement, then you can call it already as postseptal cellulitis, no? So, admit mo yan with IV antibiotics. Then, make sure to obtain OFTA consult, no? And referral for this. Okay? So, the correct answer is difficulty of moving the eyeball, no? That is the one that's going to differentiate these two etiologies, no? Itong unang three choices, common yan sa dalawa. Okay? Next, which of the following medications is the most important? A 56-year-old male came in the ER due to sudden severe eye pain. Patient is together with his family to go to a movie theater. Symptoms apparently started after entering the theater. On examination, the eyes were noted to be red, with hazy cornea, midpoint pupils, narrow anterior chamber, and firm globe. Okay, so in order for you to answer this question, what's the diagnosis? Anong diagnosis mo dyan? So, ang clue dyan, pumunta sa movie theater. So, ano ba meron sa movie theater? Madilim. Pag madilim, it would cause pupillary dilation. So, pupillary dilation is the culprit in this disease, no? Nagkaroon siya ng mga symptoms after pupillary dilation. So, bakit ganon? It's because of acute angle closure glaucoma, no? So, nagkakaroon ng obstruction dun sa drainage, no? If you're going to review anatomy, then causing increased intraocular pressure, no? So, fundoscopic exam, medyo mahirapan ka dyan kasi hazy yung cornea. But grossly would be able to appreciate red eye na masakit, no? Then, when you do pupillary constriction test, Makita mo, midpoint pupil, narrow yung anterior chamber. Okay? Then, I want you to take note of the other etiologies. Baka yun yung mga itanong sa ano nyo, sa in-service, no? So, take note of the peculiar findings for each pathology, no? Tsaka yung mga findings na specific, no? So, yung mga distinct, yun yung tandaan nyo, okay? Yan, yung flare cells in the anterior chamber, ciliary flush, consensual photophobia, yan, uveitis yan, no? Some of the keywords, no? Tapos, tomato and cheese pizza, retinal hemorrhages, CMV retinitis. Segue lang natin dyan, ilan na lang yung CD4 count niyan, most likely it's less than 50. Okay? So, you go through this nang, then, baka lang itanong, specific findings sa functional visual loss o yung mga nagbubulag-bulagan kunwari daw bulag pero nakakakita talaga. Functional visual loss, yun yung mga psychiatric patients. So, hindi magloloko tong optokinetic nystagmus, no? Because optokinetic nystagmus, this is seen in patients na okay yung vision, no? So, hindi yan mapepeke. Okay? Treatment for acute angle closure glaucoma is to reduce the intraocular pressure, tsaka to block the production of aqueous humor. Yan yung sinasabi ko sa inyo kasi ang pathology sa glaucoma is increased intraocular pressure. No? So, you have to reduce it down with the use of acetazolamide, okay, carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. You have to watch out for yung mga potassium changes, no? So, you have to review your vision, no, kung yung side effect niya sa potassium. Okay, I'll give it to your assignment. Then, beta blockers. Pagka asthmatic yung pasyente, COPD or heart failure, pwedeng iba ang piliin mo, huwag ka mag-beta blocker, no? But for academic purposes, take note, timolol, siya yung specific sa mata. Then, alpha-2 agonist, yung mga apraclonidine, no? So, yan. And then, pagka kailangan mo pa na additional, you can use mannitol, no? To diuresis your patient. Correct answer is acetazolamide, no? So, your carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. Yan yung most important to reduce the intraocular pressure. Next, which of the following topical agents for acute otitis externa can be given in perforated cases? Recall question yan. Alam nyo naman siguro, di ba, pag may mga acute otitis externa kayo sa ER, di ba, kadalasan bine-prescribe nyo Oflox, di ba? So, tandaan nyo na lang yung mga Oflox, Ciproflox, Oflox, pwede yan. Dagdag mo na lang si dexamethasone. Okay? Oflox, Ciproflox, Dexa. Pwede yan, no? Yung mga hydrocort, acetic acid, wag yan. No? Pangit yan. Okay? So, Dexa can be used, tsaka Cipro, tsaka Ofloxacin. Next, what is the most common cause of sudden hearing loss? So, this is also a recall question. Pwede kasi siyang itanong dahil naka-table. So, take note that the most common cause is idiopathic. Then, followed by infection. Okay? So, idiopathic followed by infection. Next, what is the most common cause of malignant otitis externa? So, recall lang din yan. Most common cause is Pseudomonas aeruginosa. Tapos, definition lang naman yan. Ano siya, no? Meron siyang severe otalgia, edema of the external auditory canal with otorrhea, tapos granulation tissue, yan. When you see this case nyo, granulation tissue, ibig sabihin chronic na, matagal na. So, malignant otitis externa. Okay? So, take note that the cranial nerve 7 is usually the first nerve affected. Okay? Tandaan nyo na lang yan, yung cranial nerve 7. And then, usually, yung mga natatamaan dito would be yung mga immunocompromised patients. Take note that Pseudomonas aeruginosa is a opportunistic pathogen. So, pag okay yung immune system mo, hindi yan makakaubra, no? Pero pag immunocompromised ka, so, dun siya tutubo. Kaya nga opportunistic pathogen tawag sa kanya, no? So, ang principle niyan, actually in any disease entity, basta Pseudomonas, you think of immunocompromised sa patient, no? So, pwedeng diabetics, okay? Cancer patients, yung mga kinikimo, and the like, no? Elderly. Or yung may mga previous history of or recent history ng antibiotic within the past 90 days. So, yan, okay? Pseudomonas aeruginosa, malignant, otitis externa. Next, what is the most successful method for reduction of the anterior temporomandibular joint dislocation? So, this was asked previously sa diplomate written exam. So, actually, ang alam kasi natin, it would be the conventional method, no? The conventional method is the most common method. But the question being asked is the most successful. According sa Tintinali, it is the wrist pivot method. Okay. Mga magkaloko-loko tayo dyan, no? So, that's the most successful method. Wrist pivot method. Pero yung most common method is conventional method. Okay. This is just to show and emphasize that the most successful method is the wrist pivot method. Okay. The operator's thumbs are placed on the mentum, applying upward force, while the fingers apply downward on the lower molars, forcing the body of the mandible anteriorly. Okay? Conventional method, ito na yung ginagawa. Okay? Ginagawa natin sa ER level, no? So, you apply downward and backward pressure. Okay? So, most successful is wrist pivot method. Most common method is conventional method. Next, what is the most probable diagnosis in a patient with superficial facial infection na ang description ay well-defined with raised area of erythema and tender pag pinalpate. So, the keyword here is well-defined raised area of erythema. So, I want you to take note of the following, no? So, cellulitis, diffuse yan, no? Common yung nakikita sa ER yan, di ba? Yung mapula lang na kalat. Okay? Erysipelas, isipin nyo, cellulitis din, pero parang mapa siya. So, para siyang mapa. Naka-raised, no? Para siyang mga pulo yung lesion mo. Tapos, well-defined yung borders. Okay? Erysipelas. So, that's the correct answer dun sa question natin. Then, you take note of the others na lang, no? So, actually, kaya naman yan, no? Mga keywords lang tandaan nyo. Crepitus, necrosis, necrotizing fasciitis yan. Dermatomal, vesicular, represoster. Okay, tracheal tenderness, ear pain discharge, facial swelling, na diabetic, immunocompromised, malignant otitis externa. Okay? Then, pasadahan nyo na lang yung iba, okay? So, again, well-defined raised area of erythema, erysipelas. Next, in which of the following conditions does salivary gland swelling accompanied by dry mouth, dry eyes with sclerosis? So, yung xerostomia. Very classic for Sjogren syndrome. Okay? So, just to review, pasadahan nyo to sa part ng ear disorders, sa mouth pala, no? Oral disorders. So, viral parotitis, tandaan nyo yan, yung may prodrome, no? May history of fever, tapos unilateral ang swelling. Paminsan, magkakaroon ng orchitis pa yung pasyente. Okay? Then, Stenson's duct, suppurative parotitis, no? Kapag may mga pus expression, no? trismus, posterior inferior facial swelling, masseter space. Okay? Chronic crusting plaques, TB. Okay? So, take note of that na lang. So, correct answer is Sjogren syndrome. Next, after initial stabilization, what is the next best step in the management of epistaxis? So, na-stabilize mo na primary survey, airway is patent, kunwari, breathing is okay, circulation mo, okay yung BP, disability, okay naman yung pasyente, GCS-15, okay yung CBG, walang neurologic deficits, no exposure to trauma. Una mong gagawin, nasal pressure. That is the basic thing that you could do. Pero before you do that, you ask the patient to blow the nose. Baka naman ito yung lumabas sa choice, no? Kung hindi direct nasal pressure, una magagawin is you ask the patient to blow the nose to expel clots. Tapos, tsaka ka mag-apply ng oxymetazoline or phenylephrine to facilitate vasoconstriction. Okay, sniffing position, 10 to 15 minutes. Tandaan nyo, 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? Direct nasal pressure for 10 to 15 minutes. Then, yung mga other choices dyan, yan yung mga next steps, no? Silver nitrate cauterization, thrombogenic foams, yung mga Merocel, tranexamic, no? And then, anterior nasal packing, mga down the line na yan, no? Pag hindi gumana yung mga naunang steps. Pero the first is stabilization, then followed by direct nasal pressure. So, you ask the patient to blow the nose, tapos, you apply vasoconstrictors such as oxymetazoline and or phenylephrine. Tapos, ilang minutes mo ipapress? 10 to 15 minutes. Okay? So, next, which of the following conditions can present with the triad of pain, ulcerated or punch-out interdental papillae, and gingival bleeding? So, tandaan nyo to kasi triad eh. No? Tsaka, this was previously asked, no? Sa mga review questions naman, no? Although hindi pa lumalabas, pero highly likely baka matanong kasi may triad. Okay? So, take note of this. Acute necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis, also known as Vincent's disease, also known as trench mouth. Common yan sa mga immunocompromised din na pasyente, no? Although hindi ko na sinama, pero just want to emphasize the triad here. Pain, tapos ulcers, dun sa may interdental papillae, sa gitna ng dalawang ngipin, may ulcer doon. Tapos, gingival bleeding. Acute necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis. Kung acute necrotizing ulcerative gingivitis yung nasa choice, masasagot nyo yan kasi pain eh. Tapos, merong ulcer, bleeding. Mahuhulaan mo yan na necrotizing. Pero, paano ko ang tinanong is yung other name niya, which is dito, trench mouth. So, kaya ko in-emphasize to, no? Other name niyan is trench mouth or Vincent's disease. So, the correct answer here is trench mouth. Next, which of the following transport media can be utilized for tooth transport in cases of tooth avulsions where immediate replantation is not possible? So, actually, I personally have not experienced this sa buong residency, no? Maybe in the States, ginagawa to. Pero for academic purposes, no, tooth avulsion o yung pag natanggal yung ngipin, it is a true dental emergency na kailangan maibalik yung ngipin. Okay? So, take note, kung hindi mo siya malilinis at may babalik, kung hindi ka skilled, pwede mong ilagay sa transport media, including isotonic. Take note of this, no? Isotonic dapat yung solution. Isotonic. So, yung water dun sa choice kanina, mali na yon. Kasi hypotonic yon. Then, ano yung mga isotonic solutions? Hanks, balanced salt solution, organ transport media, sterile saline, milk, and saliva, no? Actually, kahit laway, pwede na daw, no? Then, in-emphasize lang din dito, milk is an acceptable storage medium because of its osmolarity and essential concentration of calcium and magnesium ions. Okay? Na-compare siya sa Hanks salt solution, balanced salt solution. So, the correct answer here is milk. Okay? Next, what is the most likely causative agent? There's a known smoker initially complaining of mild sore throat na later nag-worsen, pumangit, tapos namaga yung leeg. Na kunwari daw, hindi daw allergic. Tapos nung winork up, merong internal jugular vein thrombophlebitis. Very pabigay, no? So, mga keyword yan. Pagka may internal jugular vein thrombophlebitis, what they call that disease? The Lemierre syndrome. Okay? Suppurative thrombophlebitis of the IJV. Tapos, ang causative agent dyan is Fusobacterium necrophorum. Okay? So, dapat ang antibiotic mo merong anaerobic coverage. Okay? Metro plus Piptas. Okay? Dapat may anaerobic coverage. Fusobacterium necrophorum. Next, which of the following is the most common cause of pharyngitis? Most common cause would be viral causes, no? Kaso, dalawa yung virus sa choice. So, alin dyan ang mas common? So, it's the rhinovirus, no? Pag tinanong kayo most common bacterial cause, it's strep pyogenes. Pag bacterial cause ang tinanong. Pero overall, viral ang most common, and then specifically rhinovirus. Okay, again, viruses account for most cases of pharyngitis or tonsillitis. Baka mamaya, ang itanong naman, what is the most common cause of tonsillitis? Rhinovirus pa din. Okay? So, yan. No? Pharyngitis, rhinovirus yung most common type. Okay? And then, take note nyo na lang yung mga, ito ang Coxsackie. This was asked in the recent exam, no? Herpangina, yan, Coxsackie A yan, no? Then, infectious mono, EBV, cytomegalovirus, no? Take note of that as well. RSV, bronchiolitis, no? Yung mga keyword dyan. Cru, para influenza. Tapos, gingivitis, stomatitis, pharyngitis. GSP, HSB. Tandaan nyo yan, no? Pharyngoconjunctival fever, adeno. Okay? So, pasadaan nyo na lang yan, ha? Then, among the bacterial causes, no? So, most common cause is strep pyogenes. Okay? Or yung group A, beta hemolytic strep, no? Scarlet fever. Then, yung Fusobacterium necrophorum, as mentioned earlier, Lemierre syndrome. Okay? So, yan. Correct answer is rhinovirus, most common overall. Next, although bleeding can be seen within 24 hours post-tonsillectomy, most significant hemorrhage occurs between post-op days 5 and blank. So, between anong days? Day 5 hanggang day 10. Okay, baka lang itanong, no? So, naka-bold kasi siya. Take note nyo na lang, it can be seen in the within 24 hours kasi kaka-opera lang, pero most significant hemorrhage occurs between day 5 and day 10 post-op. Okay? Between day 5, day 10 post-op. Ngayon, kung mangyari yan, what would you instruct your patient? So, wag mo siyang pakakainin, sit upright, tapos magpadala sa ambulance, then pagdating sa ER, so stabilize nyo siya, no? Hook to cardiac monitor, pulse ox, then secure line in case na magpapatransfuse, CBC, coag, blood typing cross match, no? Baka anemic yung pasyente, no? Then you apply direct pressure to the bleeding tonsillar bed using a tonsillar pack. Okay, pwede ka rin naman maglagay ng thrombin or lidocaine or epi. The idea is to facilitate vasoconstriction, no? Pwede mo naman gawin or pwedeng hindi. Okay? Day 5 and day 10. Okay? Next, which of the following neck mass conditions pertains to presence of multiple rubbery low neck masses with night sweats, fever, and malaise? So, actually, nasa table to. I want you to again take note yung mga specific lang, no? Yung mga peculiar sa kada disorder, no? So, ang sagot dito is lymphoma, no? Tingnan nyo. Multiple rubbery low neck masses, night sweats, fever, malaise, lymphoma. So, yun yung sagot sa choice kanina. Pasadaan natin, ranula, sublingual swelling, papilloma, alam nyo na yan may warty, no? Warty, papilloma. Torus, buto yan, no? Bony. Then, ano ba ba dito? Malapit sa subhyoid, midline, so thyroglossal duct cyst. Okay, then firm, possibly fixed cervical lymph nodes, squamous cell. Then anterior or under the ear. So nandun yung parotid, ba? So pasadaan niyo na lang yung mga yan, okay? So correct answer here is lymphoma. Multiple rubbery low neck masses with night sweats, fever, and malaise. Next, what is the most common complication associated with tracheoesophageal prosthetic valves? So, the most common complication is leakage. Okay, pwedeng mag-leak. Tracheoesophageal prosthetic valves. Naging faulty yung valves, nagli-leak na, no? Ngayon, there is a side question lang, no? Although from different chapter, sa chapter ng neuro, if you recall, most common complication with CSF shunt, no? Malfunction. So, yung mga CSF shunt, di ba, yung mga VP shunt, most common complication nun is obstruction. Doon sa CSF shunt yon, okay? Obstruction. Pero pagka tracheoesophageal prosthetic valves, leakage ang sagot. Okay? So, tandaan nyo yun baka itanong kasi. Next, tracheoinnominate artery fistula is a rare but life-threatening complication of tracheostomy. If a patient presents with massive bleeding, how should hemorrhage control be done initially? So, specific dito si Tintinali, no? If massive bleeding, hemorrhage control with hyperinflation of the cuff. Yun yung sagot. You hyperinflate the cuff. Kasi yung bleeding nasa loob eh. Okay? Then, if bleeding persists, next step na gagawin, slowly withdraw the tube while exerting pressure against the anterior trachea. Okay? Pag hindi nakuha, tanggalin mo na yung tracheostomy tube while the patient is being orotracheally intubated. Okay? Para kasi kailangan mo ng airway. Then, the cuff endotracheal should be placed distal to the source of bleeding. Syempre. Then, hemorrhage control is then attempted by placing a finger into the stoma, dissecting along the trachea, then compressing the innominate artery against the posterior manubrium. So, Utley maneuver ang tawag dyan. Okay? So, yun yung mga terms, no? Utley maneuver. Pero the first thing you should do is hyperinflate the cuff. Okay? Hyperinflate the cuff. Next, which of the following should be prioritized first in the management of a tracheostomy patient with respiratory distress? So, specific dito si Tintinali yung order, no? So, oxygenate the patient, IV access, hook to cardiac monitor, pulse ox, chest x-ray. Una yan. Pagka management of respiratory distress na tracheostomy patient, no? Specific si tinali dyan, no? X-ray. Then, tsaka mo lang i-prepare yung equipment. Then, after that, pag gamit ka na, then, dun ka pala magsa-suction sa inner cannula muna, no? Ng tracheostomy tube. Siyempre, yung loob muna, yung natatanggal. Ngayon, kapag hindi na-relieve, tanggalin mo na yung natatanggal, yung inner cannula. Linisin mo. Then, pag wala pa rin, suction through the tracheostomy tube. So, natanggal na yung cannula. Irrigate mo kung kailangan. Ngayon, last line na yung mga to, yung tracheostomy tube na yung tatanggalin. No? Although, dapat may hand-in-hand na coordination to with the ENT or surgery, depende kung sino naggawa ng procedure. Okay? Then, if no relief, silipin for any of the following. Pagka sinilip mo, may bleeding, silver nitrate daw. So, yan, no? Then, pagka obstruction, tanggalin mo siya. Okay? But again, una mong gagawin, oxygenate, hook to cardiac monitor, pulse ox, IV line, chest x-ray. So, correct answer should be prioritized first, x-ray. Tapos, next na to, prepare kayong gamit. Tapos, pag may gamit ka na, suction through the inner cannula, yung natatanggal. Itong mga stoma na to, pag hindi na gumana yung mga first step. Okay, next, last question. In adults more than 40 years old, up to 80% of lateral neck masses persistent for blank weeks are malignant. So, nakabold to sa tintinali. Take note, more than 6 weeks. Okay? More than 6 weeks. So, I want you to review na lang ulit. No? Actually, mabilis lang na maaralin tong section na to. Yung ENT, focus kayo dun sa mga naka-bold, mga naka-table, mga most common. Okay? Then, you think of it as paano itatanong in case form. Usually, magtatanong yan, may mga keywords na distinct doon sa sakit na yon. Tapos, yung treatment, yung basic treatment lang. Okay? So, that is all. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something today.